According to Bible, Abraham, Jacob, David, and Solomon had multiple wives. And it says Abraham had a slave. And David and Solomon, of course, had slaves because they were kings. So how something that's bad today could have been acceptable back then? How can we accept that? And I tell you, slavery at its inception saved lives, saved and improved lives. And so we have to look at the slavery case by case. Slavery could upgrade or downgrade lives. Did it upgrade because they become a slave, or they can downgrade? Let me explain. We used to be hunter and gatherers. And there's no such thing as slavery. It cannot exist. If one tribe take captive, you have to kill him, because there is no job for him to do. Slavery, you have to employ the person. You have to have a job for him to do. Otherwise, it would not be a slavery. A slave means is working but not get paid. Receive food, clothing, everything that he needs, but no money. That's what a slave is. And then you have no job. The hunter-gatherers, their job was to go outside and hunt and gather. And if you send him to the field, he would just escape back to his tribe, and the next day he would kill you. So you had to kill him. The only ones that survived were the minors. If the captive was minor, he would join your ranks and become one of you. You have to take the custody of it to increase your numbers. And since Middle East is dry, first agriculture started in Middle East because the land cannot give. As population grow, the land is dry and there is not enough vegetable to forage, and there is not many animals to kill. It's not as blessed as the rest of the world. So agriculture had to start from Middle East, which it did. And agriculture is also a culture. Civilization. That's how it started. Let me explain. Because some of us then understand that we will starve and we had to plant. And once we plant, we become chained to that land. And we become immobile. We could not move. Because hunters and gatherers are always on the move. They are nomads. And but then as soon as we did that, first it started as an island, and around us is ocean of hunter-gatherers. And we found ourselves that we are, all the hunter-gatherers that we used to be, become our mortal enemy. Because this time they will hunt us and gather our possessions on a harvest day. On a harvest day, they come to take your harvest because it's more than they can gather in years. Of course, they will take it. They come and to take it. It's a given, and they have to do it over your dead body. So they have to kill you or you kill them. It's a struggle between life and death. And not only that, they will take your children and they turn them to savages that you used to be. I said they were savages because compared to them, you are above them. Because you are a farmer. Farmer, therefore, is cultured. Considered to be cultured. Everything is relative compared to them. Because now, as soon as you become farmer, they become savages. They become barbarian. They become beasts. Because they do these things to you, and there's no way to change the facts. And therefore, when civilization starts, then you're relatively civilized to them. And the frightening thing is when they acquire horses, and then they call them raiders. They will raid you. Since they know where you are, but you cannot take revenge at them because you don't know where they are. They are mobile. And they live in a tents, and they move their tents like Mongols. And then you'll be totally at their mercy. They can kill you at any given time, but you cannot even see them at the dead of the night. And they can burn your fields. Then no matter how many militias and armies and protection you have, you're still at their mercy. They have advantage over you. And if they take you captive, they kill you for the same reason. But how about if you take them captive? If you take them captive, the only way is for you, either you have to kill them, or because if you release them, they will do the same thing next time to you and others. And the only way is you put them to work, if you have work for them. But since Middle East is dry, the limiting factor is not labor. You don't need more workers. More workers is just more head to feed. Limiting factor is rain, which you have no control over it. Therefore, you have no use for it. The only way is for you to take him to the city and sell it, considering fetch a lot of money, because you have to risk your life to catch one. And in the city, because it's expensive, only rich families can afford it. And so for the rest of his life, he will live serving a rich family and living in comfort and luxury, compared to where he come from, living like a beast in the wilderness and kill and rape and just it's an improvement. His life is improved, and he become a bit lettered, and eventually he will be absorbed, and it's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. And slavery can go evil when the city itself become a hunter and gatherer. The first case, I think, was in the Bible. It says Assyria went become that, and they become the human hunters. They were hunting humans. They were hunting other cities, other city-states. They become martial, and they become dominant militarily, and they use it to hunt and gather other cities. Hunt their men, kill them, and gather their possessions, including women and children, gold and wheat, and they erased many cultures. For example, Elam, the capital was Susa in the Bible. It was erased by those guys, and therefore that's evil. That's pure evil, because it was a downgrade for a city-state to die and then to put in chains. And they were equals. Elam and Assyria, they were equals. For the equals to be, it was a downgrade. They become downgraded, and the culture is downgrade. And now let's look at the Romans. And they were also at the mercy of the hunter and gatherers, which were Germanic tribes. And they were very lucky that the German tribes did not have horses. Otherwise, they would become Attila the Hun, and they would not be so successful in containing them. And we know Romans, they could never conquer Germania. And so you can see the challenge, but the Germanic tribes at any given time, they could raid the Roman village and do the same thing to them. And therefore there was constant war, and they would take them captive. Then the same thing would happen. You either have to kill them or find a job for them, which was plentiful because Europe is green. And therefore, that's why slavery was widespread in Europe, but not so much in Middle East. And we explained that how the slaves in Middle East would end up, and how they would end up in Europe, and how it would end up if it were the hands of hunter and gatherers. And they would be used as a sacrificial lamb, or sometimes they would be cannibalized because there was no other use for them, and it was worse. Therefore, every case of slavery, we have to check if they were they were arrested during a raid on you. Those that were arrested in a raid, and then the war was defensive, or God forbid you went them to enslave them in the first place. And how about the colonialists? Colonialists, yes, they went to Africa and they brought slaves to America, South and North America, and basically nowhere else. And the descendants of the Africans in those countries, they resent them, but you must understand, Africa was, to this day, they are hunters and gatherers. You can check on ChatGPT or Google the fightings between hunter and gatherers and farmers in Nigeria today. Just as we speak, they go through the same thing, and for the same reasons. So yeah, going back to Africa is like going back 20,000 years in the era of the hunting and gathering. So when the white man went there, they went back 20,000 years. They said this is the era of hunting and gathering. It's like to go to another planet, and the planet is in that era, and there's no nations, and everybody doing the hunting and gathering. So they said, okay, we are equals. So you are a black hunter and gatherer, we are white hunter and gatherer, and we are equals. Then everybody's equal, right? All human beings equal. So we can also hunt and gather. And they also hunt and gathered the resources. They cut wood and they took minerals. And then I don't see anything wrong with that, because even if you want to pay local, I made another movie about that. And that's not evil. But what was evil when they start hunting and gathering human being. And that's wrong. And according to ChatGDP, the majority of the slaves, most of the slaves, they bought it from the tribes. And the tribes, since they were hunter and gathering tribes, they would use the slaves to eat them. They either cannibalize them, or they would use them for sacrifice, a sacrificial ritual, again because there was no other use to them. So I assume if those colonialists would not buy those slaves, they would end up dead. And so the descendants of slaves in South and North America, if the whites would not bring them, they would not buy them, they would not exist. So you have to consider that, and then consider how much what I'm saying is true.